Welcome back to Gutsy Gutsy, and as you can see, things have shifted around a little bit. Yes, during the holidays I decided to prioritise projects, which is why that's now in the corner. Gutsy seems to be at the back of the queue. That's only in terms of being finished. It's those two that should be done. So we're going to start in earnest on the Gutsy itself. And I think to start with we're going to be cleaning it down, as I said, and chopping the frame. And initially we're just going to be chopping it about, as always, erring on the side of caution. First, we have no idea what seat the tank will be fitting, although we've got a rough idea. But secondly, we've got lots of nice amount of bolts here. So that's why we're just going to take a little bit off to start. That may all change. So I might be looking at the front, but I think we'll stick to something with the frame now. We're talking about painting it red. I'm not sure how easy that's going to be without taking off the engine. I've always managed to do that in the past without doing so. But the only motor I've ever dropped down is the R6. That's ended up in here. And of course, being a relatively modern bike, that was literally dropping it out, i.e. it hung from the frame, it doesn't sit in the frame. For example, the Kawasaki, where it sits within the whole frame, but as you can see, you could slide it out sideways. Thanks to the beautiful V-twin, I have no idea how you get that bloody thing out of there. Not least of all, it's not as simple as just disconnecting a chain. You'd have to disconnect the drive shaft and all that stuff. So I don't really want to do that. So whilst I am quite good at painting frames without taking engines out, to paint it a different colour might be more complicated. Talking of the R6, I found this, which is also left over, a nice oil catch can. Certainly an improvement on that. And while we don't know what the battery's going to look like in terms of size, we're not sure where we would fit the replacement. Somewhere in there, hopefully, though, right? Well, that's cleaned up a little bit, and we got a little bit more access in there now. Taking that plate off, cleaned all that up. Interesting, those fuel lines are actually joined. Those two metal pipes are joined. Took the old K&N filters off, and it looks like we're in luck. These are left over from the Yamaha again, the R6, so I think they'll fit. Just stripping the paint off the battery tray there. I'll put it back in the same place. I may paint it red, I may paint it silver, I don't know yet. Anyway, while it's out here, let's get rid of that back end. And while we're in cleaning mode, I suppose we better do these. Wasn't all scrapped. I've been looking for a handle for my gate to go with my gear shift. Yep, that'll work. So I think we're going to keep the engine stock. We might paint the cylinder heads, but otherwise I think we're going to keep it as is, just cleaned up with a little patina. Might paint that bottom section there black, just to kind of blend it in. Need to get rid of that anchor there, don't we? That centre stand. And while I was cleaning everything up, it gave me a chance to look around the frame and access to everything. I think we might be able to do that red trick. There's a few bits that'll be tricky. And after initial cleanup, I think these are definitely going to have to be painted. So, matte black, red, and red wrap. Somewhat similar to what I did on the Suzuki GS550. And if you haven't watched that episode, I suggest you do. Episode? It was a whole damn series. Yes, and then these beautiful little tailpipes that we did on the Kawasaki. Assuming we can find some with the same diameter, if they're not already the same diameter. So we'll have to break these down a little bit more and clean them up a little bit more and paint them up a little bit more. Red wrap, which I think is in there. There you go. Lovely jubbly. So, in the interest of standalone episodes, which might be of interest to people, I shall be doing one episode on the exhaust and one episode on painting the frame, which leads us with the rest of this episode. What shall we do? Well, I suppose that's a good start. Lovely. And meanwhile, I've ordered a seat. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the kind of standard cafe racer type seat with a big bulbous backside, but it might work in this particular instance in terms of keeping everything kind of retro. So we'll see when it turns up. So I've done a lot of investigation into the various pipage for the oil system. Yeah, all that malarkey. It's complicated pipage, as you can see. Talking of which, we'll probably be looking at the exhaust system next time around, if I can get the other half off. Yes, it's quite the escapade. I've heated it, I've bashed it, I've levered it out, as you can see. I've even jammed it in between the gate posts over here and twisted it and turned it. As you can see, more damage. Oh, I nearly forgot. We have our funky washers in from IDR, 3D printed. Shall we see if they fit? Well, yes they did, and it turns out we only needed the one, I think. Just to put 3D printing into some kind of perspective, that takes 15 minutes to print out. Yeah, that. Next time around, we'll most probably be looking at the exhaust, maybe the frame, or something entirely different. You just have to tune in and find out. So, in the meantime, thanks for tuning in this time, of course. If you thought the video was any good, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already, subscribe down here somewhere. And, of course, encourage others to watch my lunacy.